on this video, congratulations. I don't really have that much of an intro. If you watch the Super Bowl, right, walk with me. If you have somebody who looks like this, that's like betting on your team, $1 million, you were for sure going to lose. I thought we all knew that. As soon as I saw him post the slip on the internets, I already knew what the script was. Drake Mays, he ain't never going to see a Super Bowl ever in his life again. 7 sacks. I could have stepped in. I could have had the jersey if you want to, pray for everybody's boyfriend, everybody's uncle, father. Somebody is in deep, deep debt right now. I know it. I feel the hemorrhoids, the booty cheeks clenching. Valentine's Day is coming up. You ain't getting no gift, sis. I'm so sorry. He spent it all. You might not even have a car by the end of the month. Mortgage, what are you getting? You can't afford a house. Rent? Yeah. Welcome back to YouTube channel, guys. Thank you guys so much for coming back. So I'm not going to take too much of your time, actually. I just wanted to go over a little bit of a movie review, kind of talk about actually the subspace of book talk. Now I'm a reading girly, right? 50% of like actual books, 20% of plays, and the rest is like manga, or my deep dark theories on the web. Y'all read those files? Cause woo! But book talk, it's been in my face for a while. I know like everybody who likes to read, reading comprehension, who has like the ability to read. Cause you know what my other thing is like y'all watch a video and everything that you ask, if you actually fully watch the video or read those captions, you can shut up, right? But book talk, is for the girlies who like to read a little bit of smut, a little bit of fantasy. It's a really big gathering, a really big group. And the horniness in book talk is really concerning, actually. And the psychological effects behind it, right, is very much interesting, right? You have all your subgenres. You have all your groups, your cliques, very opinionated people about these words on pages. I bring this up because I got invited to an early premiere of Wuthering Heights. Why did I say it like that? Because I feel like it's supposed to be, like a nice little English Victorian fantasy. It's based off of a book. Did I read the book? No. Let me tell you why. Because that book was as thick as a thesaurus, Webster's dictionary, and a Harry Potter book all combined in one. And I just don't have that type of time and commitment. But I went and I saw the movie, and I have thoughts, and I have feelings, and I have opinions. Number one, I don't think I've ever rooted for two main characters in their downfall so hard. Yeah, I get that, in the books, the setting, right? The character of tall, dark, and handsome. And when you say dark, you mean hair. You don't mean skin color. Huh? Yeah? Him being a tan version of rice pudding is not dark. That's not, no. Book talk, I get it. It's fantasy. You love the drama, the love. But this one, I put in logic and reasoning, I think a little too hard. It's about these two characters that are essentially, it's like Flowers in the Attic. And if you've never read Flowers in the Attic, it's actually my favorite spicy mayo drama ever. It's just without the incest. Huh? I know. But it's about this brother and sister that aren't really brother and sister. It's adopted, right? Actually, he came from slavery, right? During Black History Month. I have so many questions. Comes into this family, and then you got my girl, and they're like play brother and sister, but they're like secretly in love. But she wants to be rich, so then she goes on and marries another rich man. But all through this time, it's yearning. He's a terrible person, even though he was abused. She's a terrible person because she like gets mad that he's actually in love with her and tries to pursue it. He disappears for 4 years, comes back, and really it's about them two getting their lick back to each other. And the way that it ends, I said, girl, please, like you really thought, right? And even with him, because then he goes crazy, right? A little BDSM, a little 50 Shades of Grey to a higher degree, actually. And it was just messy. It was real messy. I couldn't even like take you serious with the tears, right? Get the doctor. Police! He says it just like, somebody call the doctor. And I'm like, my brother. Somebody called the psychiatrist, actually. I gotta say, I give the film a solid 7.5 out of 10. Mainly because of production value. The shots were amazing. A sunset, you always got me with a nice sunset. And the costumes, might I say, were very tasteful. But the plot itself, this movie was 2 hours and some change, and I felt every 2 hours and something minutes of it. Wuthering Heights really withered my patience. Yeah, but it was very lustful without exposing dingles and berries, like not one shed of flesh for the most part, but a lot of innuendos. So that was creative. And I think that's really what gets the girls going, is that, you know, the same fantasy that you portrayed in your mind and kind of mapped out is kind of what we're mapping out here in the movie. I think the only reason why this movie will actually be a success is because you have Jacob Elordi and Margot Robbie. Two very decent looking people with very sexy accents. So, but you know, Book Talk, I feel like it just really gives into Delululand. And when you really kind of paint it out into actual film production, it's a swing and a miss. A lot of things that are glorified in these characters, because I've been told that in the book is way more sad. The book is way more reality based. The fact of a lot more characters that were like very extended in the film are actually cut off in the book very quickly. One main character, which is her brother, is non-existent in the movie, and apparently he's very important to the plot. And I hate that, because I feel like if the book is well crafted, and I can have a good love story, but if it also has drama and like solid principles and storytelling, which makes me kind of like the story, keep that in the movie, right? Like, I get that Jacob and Margot are both good looking people, and some people will drool seeing him shirtless. He was a little too skinny for me personally. But to really X out all those factors and make it into a more glorified, sexually charged, but also like demise story, for the sake of production, for the sake of marketing value, it kind of cuts it underhand short. I feel like people will be engaged maybe halfway through the film, you kind of space out, and then you'll get gathered back together at the end. But you know, that's how it is. And you know, romance in books, it's always messy, because a book takes time for the most part. Well, it used to be, because like, who reads? Yeah. But a book takes time. It takes crafting, it takes planning, it takes character development, plot development. And you really have to connect it all together for it to make sense, for you to be engaged, to actually read page by page, retain and follow. In a movie, you kind of get away with like some cool shots, good music, undertone of a lot of foreshadowing of a couple of things, a couple symbols here and there, and you kind of tie it up all together with very slight references regarding the book. I would definitely say go watch this film if you're looking for something to watch for Valentine's Day. I don't know if this is the type of yearning and love story that you would want in your present life, because baby, the way that it ends, yeah. But you know, some of y'all like that type of crazy. That's exactly the glue that y'all feel like needs to be in a relationship versus like actually dealing with yourself. This portrayal of love and romance, I gotta say, it's a slow burn that has a lot of outside factors. And I feel like it could have been cut short because they could have been together if you really thought about it. But people's feelings got hurt. You know, people wanted different things. And I feel like it does kind of devil into class. It devils into upbringing. It devils into respectability politics, right? You being a woman and a lady, how you can't really go to a man's house during that period of time, how the man has to beckon and call for you, that type of thing. And I wish that the film kind of exploited more of that. I feel like that would have made me kind of appreciate and root, at least for one of them, a little bit more. But you know, I gotta say that it is a really smutty Victorian era-esque love story that ends tragically, which I kind of like. You know, we do like a realistic ending, but this one was like actions meet consequences, and I feel like in love stories specifically, that's always something that's a swing and a miss, is that everybody wants to do terrible things and be terrible people, but you don't want to actually accept the consequences of such said actions. And unfortunately, babes, somebody got to pay the bill, you know, and she did. And also he did, but it was mainly her. So, you know, I gotta say that this film, it was spicy for sure. Spicy to the imagination, spicy in a lot of ways. It gave me a lot of oohs and ahs, like I was definitely in there. But will I watch it again? Absolutely not. Do I say that this is like, love, yearning? For me, no. I feel like if you cried during this film, you have to go see The Lady. Like, you have no choice. Something is wrong in the hippocampus. Something is wrong. But I will say, for like a solid base of a story, of exposition, of scenery, of really getting you in to the times, it did a great job. The intro was crazy. And that's the part that made me mad, because the intro was so wild. You had somebody dying of a hanging and people like having sex out in the open in the streets, but it didn't connect. None of it like followed through. So I was lost. Maybe that was the foreshadowing for the wilding behavior that was going to come. Who knows? Who knows? That's all I have for you guys today. Thank you guys so much for watching the video. Please comment, like, and subscribe. You know what I'll say for Valentine's Day? The most main important thing is that you like being in the relationship with the person that you're with, and that you have respect. Respect for boundaries, respect of self. Right? Right. I also want to say couples content. I'm seeing a lot of couples break up. There was that one famous couple. I do not know their names. I just know that they're light-skinned and allegedly they were Jehovah's Witnesses. And that's the reason why he cheated in order for them to get out of the relationship, which is like crazy. But, you know, I will say that if a couple looks like this, I'm talking about, where's the floor? Cement floor? No bed frame? If you got that, you can keep your couples content. I don't want to see it. I'm really tired of like the fake pranks, the fake outrage. It gets a little old. You know, how about you do couples content where you like actually focus on the relationship? Yeah. And a lot of y'all are having the sneaky link, secret babies. Mans don't know how to do laundry. She doesn't cook. It just, you know, that's the type of couples content that I want to see. Growth. You know, I don't know. And I'll catch you guys in the next one. Bye.